Yo, what's up, agents? How y'all doing? Hope everybody's hanging in there, being as safe as you guys need to be. So we got the Battle for Brooklyn coming up in just under a week here. I'm really looking forward to it. And what may go against my better judgment, rather than going into the new content with my skill build character, just plowing through it, I'm going to go in with my DPS character. The reason I bring that up is today I want to talk about the recently acquired named knee pads, the Turmoil. So these are really cool and I think really powerful knee pads. So let's quickly talk about the knee pads themselves. We'll talk about the competition. You know, what is it up against? We'll talk about the pros and the cons of these specific knee pads, and then we'll talk about different play styles that you may want to incorporate. As always, if you like this, you learned something new, smashing that like button would be greatly appreciated. Hopefully by the end of this, I will have earned you guys subscriptions. Best thing you can do to help my channel is to share this video. And do me a favor, if you guys have any comments, you guys are playing with the knee pads any differently, or just anything you want to add, leave that comment down below. All right, so the Turmoil are from the CV brand set. This means the one-piece bonus is going to get us the 8% critical hit chance. Two-piece bonus, if you are running the Ninja Bike or for some reason the second piece, will get you that 20% hazard protection. For some insane reason, you're running three pieces, you will get the 90% health bonus as well. I can't imagine any of you are going to be doing that based on the DPS loss you would get. But that's what we got. I believe that everybody's knee pads dropped fully loaded, so you got the 15% weapon damage, the 6% crit hit chance, and the 12% crit hit damage. Now, what truly makes these knee pads special, of course, is they're an ode to year one, back when all of our gear slots had talents. In the present day and age, only our exotics get the talents. However, these come with a cool talent called Bewildered. What Bewildered effectively does is it splits any damage that you do to an enemy 50-50 with another random enemy within 30 meters. So that's a very large radius. Basically, anytime you're in an engagement with multiple enemies, you're most likely going to be proccing this. The other cool thing, it being CV, getting that 8% crit hit chance, that basically lends itself to any sort of DPS build. So what's really cool is it's not like you're getting a brand set that goes against, is antithetical to a weapon build. So that's nice that they did that. All right, let's talk about the one competition it has in slot. Its one competition is Fox's Prayer. This is the knee pads that come with, I believe they are Overlords, so it busts your rifle damage. And in the minor attributes slot, you get the 8% damage to targets out of cover. So there is an argument that overall this is a single target DPS loss. However, I think the utility of the Turmoil well makes up for that loss of the 8% damage to targets out of cover. All right, so quickly let's talk about the cons of the knee pads before we get into the pros. So the first one, the major detriment I found is if I was getting rushed by a tanky enemy, there was other enemies around, so I wasn't doing maximum damage to that enemy. It was being split, so there's a chance of getting rushed. That, not so much you could do about that. So that's the one thing when you're playing solo to look out for. Make sure you keep enough difference between yourself and the rushers that they don't get up on you due to the damage split. That lends in one of the second cons is you really have no control over how the damage bonus is split, but there are ways that we can try to still maximize what damage goes where. We'll get into that in a moment. And then lastly, the last thing is if you don't build into it right way, if you're not playing this build the right way, it can feel weak. Even if it's putting out the same amount of damage that it normally would, depending on your target priority, if you're not choosing the right target to shoot at the right time, it can make this build feel weaker than it is. So just to be aware of that. All right, so now let's talk about the pros. So first of all, it spreads damage around. Anytime you get spread damage to multiple enemies, that's generally a good thing. One of the best things about it is you generally, with almost every iteration of this, you're just going to start shooting at the tankiest enemy, and it's going to start killing the lesser enemies around them. So it's really easy. You just try to choose your hardiest target and just shoot the shit out of them until everything's dead. Another cool thing is I found that shooting proxies works. So if you're shooting, say somebody has a turret out or they have a shield, shooting that will spread the damage around to other enemies around. Pretty good to use strategically if you're by yourself. If you're playing in a team, one cool thing about it is you could steal these kills. You know, you could have your teammate working on an enemy, you're splitting damage on another enemy, but just coincidentally getting that kill because the damage split. So, free kills. Here's another pro. It's a free talent on the knee pads. I mean, who doesn't want a free talent, right? And as I alluded to already, it is a useful brand. It's not like you're getting Petrov knee pads, but you're not going to be using an LMG in any of your builds, right? This, given the CV nature, 8% crit hit chance, good for almost every build. Okay, so here's the basics of the build. The build really, you're just going to play it like any other build for the most part. You just play smart. If you can, kill the enemy proxies first because this will spread target damage around to other targets. You just want to shoot for the most part at the tankiest enemy possible, and then you clean up any remnants that are left afterwards. Easy as that. That being said, there is one way that I would deviate from this, and that is if you are going to be doing a one-shot rifle or marksman rifle build using the standard determined. And one thing to note, I haven't covered this in any other videos. I haven't really noticed anybody covered it, but determined and perfectly determined perks, I actually like the standard determined better. Perfectly determined guarantees you, after you get a headshot kill, your next hit on an enemy anywhere is a guaranteed critical headshot. But the problem is it then resets itself. Determined is not a critical headshot, it's just a standard headshot to any part of the body hit, but it can be procced over and over again in an endless chain provided you do enough damage. So why do I bring that up? Because that means if you're using the Turmoil knee pads, you're not going to want to shoot the tankiest target. You're going to want to get a headshot kill on the weakest enemy you can find and then proceed to shoot at the weakest enemy. Why is that? Because you want to guarantee the kill of that weak enemy, and the idea is if you have, say, one tanky target and then you got 3 smaller targets. So what this means is you can easily kill lesser adds around if the damage is spread to them, or if the damage is spread to the tankier target, it will go ahead and add damage to them, making them that much easier to take out once the other enemies are down. So only in the case of determined would I recommend going after the weaker enemies first. In pretty much every other situation, it may change, and maybe you guys can leave comments, other situations where you wouldn't do that. But I think for the most part, every build other than determined, just go ahead and tank out the tankiest targets or the proxies first, then clean up the remnants. If you're using the determined build, work your way up the paradigm. All right, so that's pretty much it. I guess what's my opinion on the Turmoil knee pads? I like them. Fucking cool. Anyway, looking forward to the new DLC dropping. I'm definitely going to be streaming that, putting the videos up, and looking forward to just whatever else may come. Now I'm going to go and spend my SHD points. Make sure to spend all your scavenging points for your SHD. You guys don't want to lose out on any of those points and stuff. If nothing else, just buy the E-credits so you could convert that into whatever else down the road, even if it's just buying gear to then break it down. So, all right, agents, again, if you learned something new or found this entertaining, smash that like button would be greatly appreciated. Hopefully by now I've earned your guys' subscriptions. Best thing you can do to help my channel, share the video, and leave any comments about how you would run the Turmoil knees or anything you want to see in the future in the comment section down below. All right, you agents, be as safe as you need to be out there. It's my loud chair. We'll catch you all in the dark zone. Peace out, everybody.